Hello and welcome to episode 5 of DealerPod, the podcast where we talk to motor trade industry experts nationwide to find out about their businesses and gain any insights that they may have to help you with your car sales operation. My name's Stephen and I'm joined today as always by Scott and Martin. And today's guest has been a motoring journalist for more than 20 years and is the founder and editor-in-chief of Car Dealer magazine. I'd like to welcome to the podcast James Baggott. Hiya James, how are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Feels a bit weird being on this side of the fence.
Yeah,
You
will
ask
do.
these questions.
It will do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to inundate you with uncomfortable ones then. So
Oh,
you maybe have
brilliant.
done that over the years. No,
Yeah, I
not really.
certainly have.
Not really. So James, can you just start with telling us a bit about yourself and about your background and how obviously, Car Dealer magazine came about and how it came to be?
Yeah, well, I started Car Dealer magazine in 2008. Yeah, long time ago. I'd been a motoring journalist for quite some time. I used to work for Auto Express, the weekly magazine you probably know. Um, Loved cars for a long time. My brother was a car dealer, used car dealer just down the road from where I live. My dad used to work for HRO as a salesman a long time ago in London. So kind of car dealing was sort of in my blood. But I ended up just going into the trade and writing about it. So ended up firstly in consumer magazines. I love cars, so writing about cars is an absolute passion. And I just sort of when I launched Car Dealer, saw a bit of a gap in the market for a magazine that was a bit fun to read. Really, I mean, you guys probably remember when we actually used to publish the physical magazine. We did things slightly differently. We used to put a car on the cover, which was slightly different for a motor trade publication. I mean, our rival publications used to put people on the covers, and my argument was when the magazine was landing on a dealer desk, they'd want to read about cars because chances are you're in the motor trade because you like selling cars. So the content that we've always had has been sort of focused on that passion side of the industry really first. We published 150 odd issues of the magazine before we went digital only. And obviously that came about as a result of COVID. And since then, we've just put all of our time and effort into the website, and the growth of the magazine and the website has been absolutely huge. I mean, to give you just a rough idea of that, I mean, before COVID, we were doing about 500,000 unique users on the website a year, so nothing really to shout home about. During the COVID year, that soared to 8 million unique users.
Wow.
And last year, we did 12.5 million unique users on the website. So it's just the website's absolutely accelerated, and it's transformed the business really. I mean, I'm a magazine consumer. I love reading magazines. So I'm sort of gutted that we don't print a physical one anymore. But times have changed, haven't they? And people consume their media in a different way. I mean, we've got the car dealer WhatsApp groups where we share our content in the mornings and when breaking news stories happen. And we've got 10 of those groups and over 4,500 dealers in those groups now. And you can just see the absolute rise in traffic on our website as soon as we post a story. So it's been a strange journey over the years, but I'm absolutely passionate about this industry, and I love talking about the motor trade. And well, as you know now, I've tried my hand at it myself, something I wanted to do for a long period of time, and I've just found that experience absolutely fascinating. But absolutely, the core of what I do on a daily basis is writing stories about the motor trade, and I love it.
Mm.
Yeah, great. So getting on to what you were saying there about how you've sort of dipped your toe in the water to become an actual car dealer yourself. I've watched a few of the YouTube videos, to be honest with you, when you've been jumping on that ferry, haven't you, going across to get your cars prep and what have you. Could you just maybe share a bit more about that experience of what it's like to be on the actual, the side of being a car dealer and how you found it, and is it any different to what you thought it was going to be like?
I think it's been. I mean, okay, I started this in December, so I've not been doing this very long. I mean, I've sold something like 45 retail cars now, all on my own. Currently based from home. I've just taken on the lease for a small unit, which we move into on October the 1st. But the idea from this came about with I've something I've wanted to do for a long period of time. Like, as I say, I love the motor trade and I love cars, and my family's have been car dealers in the past. So it's always something that I've wanted to try my hand at. I've been writing about the industry so long and talking to the really good guys about how they do things, and actually looked on and seen how successful some people can be in this industry, and thought, well, I'd like to try that. What a great way of learning what my readers are doing on a day, experiencing on a daily basis, and trying it myself. So in December, I decided to start the business, and I thought, look, just to give it a little bit of to show the industry what can be done with AI, let's try and do as much of this business using AI as possible. Now, over the last few months, AI has helped with some things, and actually has been a hindrance in others. And I don't know how much you guys have used AI, but there are parts of it can do when it comes to helping the industry, helping the motor trade out. But there are parts where it really can't help at all. It came up with my name. The Clever Car Collection for the business was a name generated by AI. It helped design the logo. I mean, I've got a professional designer at Car Dealer Magazine who tweaked it afterwards, but it came up with the concept, which is often the hard thing to do, isn't it? It's what it's really helped me do is select the cars to buy. I mean, I have got no experience in the motor trade apart from writing about it. I've never sold a car properly up until this point in time. So, my first question was, well, what do I stock? Where do I start? What do people want to buy? So I spoke to the guys at Auto Trader who have been incredibly helpful with this project, and they introduced me to all of the data that they offer, and the retail ratings, and the days to sell, and the market health. And before that, I knew about this data, but I never really understood it. Whereas now I can see how vital it's been. So what I've done is I would run a auction catalog from CarWow or Motorway through a bulk retail check. That it's a product that Auto Trader offer called Accelerator, and it will cross-reference all of those cars in those auctions with its data, and tell you what the retail ratings are, what the days to sell are, what the margins are in them. Importantly, if you're working from retail back, which is what I've been doing, and I've focused my business on buying cars that are over like a 90 retail rating, because I can't really afford to have cars sitting around, especially when I've got very little space on my driveway at the moment. But I've had very little space to store these vehicles. I've needed them to turn quickly. And it's been interesting because AI will help select those and tell me, it will run the difficult algorithms that you need to do in a spreadsheet. And it's been helping me select those vehicles. So, yeah, I found that side of it absolutely fascinating, and it's worked. I mean, my average days to sell at the moment are 16 days. I've sold a lot of cars within hours of listing them, but they're always the ones in the top of those retail rating numbers. The 96s and above will sell, I find, almost immediately. So yeah, I think so. Without wanting to prattle on about this project too much, I found it absolutely fascinating seeing what people like yourselves do on a daily basis. I have got so much respect for you now, even more so than I had before, because
I was going to say you didn't have any before then.
Well, no, I had massive amount of respect for you guys. It's just I've seen how stressful it is. Dealing with customers on a daily basis is really, really hard work, because often their expectations for a used car when I'm selling stuff under $7,000 is massive compared to what you can do. And I'm easy to find. You Google James Baggott, you can find my details very easily. So I've got a reputation I really need to uphold. So it's meant that I've got to go above and beyond every single time when it comes to customer service. So if I'm honest, I found it stressful, and it takes over your life, doesn't it?
Oh, massively.
And where do you see that going, Jim? Do you see that obviously you're getting the keys for the new plates on the 1st of October? Where do you envisage the business being in a couple of years' time, for argument's sake?
Well, I mean, I started this as a project, but I always set it up as a legitimate business. It needed to stand on its own 2 feet. It's a limited company. It's VAT registered. When I've got a premises, I'll be able to be FCA regulated. I wanted to do all of the steps properly. Like as a proper car dealer has to. I've been through fits and starts this year. It gets to the point where you sell a few cars and a couple of them come back, and you kind of, I take that really personally. You know, I didn't really know how to deal with these sort of situations because it was new to me. And it was a lot of weight on my shoulders, if I'm honest, especially when I was doing it on my own. I've managed to convince a friend of mine. How long he's going to be a friend after I've managed to convince him to join me, I don't know, but he's joining me in the business. So there's two of us doing it, and he's been involved in it for like 2-3 weeks now, and just being able to pick up the phone to somebody else who knows who the customer is, who knows what the problem is, who knows who our suppliers are, who can help solve issues, has been a massive relief. So I think, so in terms of where do I think it's going to go, I'm just going to see how we get on, and whether it's a little bit less stressful with a bit of help rather than it has been just doing it on my own.
And how many cars you got in stock at the moment then?
I've got the heady heights of 4 at the moment. I'm hoping to win one in the CarWow auction today, and I won one at the weekend, but it had been listed with full service history, as they always are, and hasn't got full service history. So I'm currently negotiating on the price. So hopefully that will be 6. I would like to get up to 10. You know, I've got the standard package with Auto Trader, you know, the 5-car package, and I just find that if you don't keep it turning, and you have a good weekend and you sell 4 of them, all of a sudden you've got no cars or whatever in stock, and you have to go out and find them. It's hard. I mean, I'd love to hear your advice on what I should be doing and how many I should have in stock, because I'm struggling and to work it out myself.
Have you walked away from many, James, when you bought them from CarWow and you're not as describing it?
Yeah,
Quite a
loads.
few.
Yeah,
Loads, yeah.
Yeah, there have, because the thing is, I'm really fussy because I sort of have to be. You know, I've got no experience. I don't know how much stuff costs to fix, and I don't want to worry about it. So I go for stuff that's, I mean, obviously it's under kind of $7,000 retail, so it's older, higher mileage, but stuff that's traditionally reliable. You know, Nissan's, Japanese stuff, Korean cars. My prep center is a Korean car specialist, so I sort of aim for those sorts of cars. I just look for stuff with good service history, and I do the sort of, I pick a lot of them up myself. I mean, my acquisition sort of kind of modus operandi is dealing with the local area. I want to be able to go and pick it up 5 miles down the road. So on CarWow motorway, I look daily for cars within my area. Because I found I bought one that was 30-40 miles away. It took me half a day to get there because of traffic. Got there, the car had all the coolant had gone into the engine. You know, head gasket was all the oil was milky. You know, even I know that's something to walk away from.
Yeah.
So, you know, I walked away from it and then coming all the way back. And at the moment, I'm having to ask my other half to drive me there. So those sort of conversations don't go down well, do they?
No.
That's a big problem up and down the country in the industry at the moment. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think both Motorway and CarWow and the likes do fantastic jobs, but when you've got customers who aren't motor dealers, who aren't sort of versed in how to describe a car, actually describing a car, it doesn't always go down well, you know.
Well, look, I sort of use it to my advantage as well, if I'm honest, because, you know, it's a competitive bidding world, isn't it? CarWow and motorway. You know, you have to put your best foot forward, and you're competing against other dealers. But what I do when I go to pick one up is I've just print out the listing in full, and I'll take it there and I'll talk to the customer. I'll say, look, this is what I bought your car for. This is what I was presented with when I bought your car and bid the price I did. You know, you said it's got full service history. These are the marks that I'm expecting. If I see anything else, I'm afraid we're going to have to adjust the price. So if there's any other marks or anything else I notice, I'm afraid we're going to have a conversation. If it is what I've seen in that listing that I've bid on, and I can't see anything else, I'll pay you the price that I've promised. And every single customer I've had a conversation with has gone completely fair, no problems. And more often than not, they have got marks that they haven't listed. And I just say, well, there's a mark there, this wheel's curved. And we have a discussion. And it means you get the car for slightly cheaper, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think they probably already put into We Buying a Car.
Yeah.
So they've already got a lower price anyway. So when it goes through there, they've got this bigger margin to be dropped back off.
Yeah, I mean, I do like using CarWow motorway. If I'm honest, it's the main channel that I've been acquiring stock. I've bought a few from friends and family and people that have offered me cars, but it's the main way that I do it. And I like the fact that you have this sort of two-step buying process, unlike a traditional auction, where you obviously have to bid against other dealers. But when you actually go there, you get a secondary check, can't you? I mean, if you want to spend 2 hours driving that car around and check it over, as long as the customer's happy with it, you can do it. So, I do go there and I really do take my time and I look over them and I give it a proper test drive. And I like to do it myself because I'm spending my money. So it's not scalable. I get that. And I know it's not scalable. But at the moment, I'm so new to this. I have to do my due diligence. And I find buying on CarWow Motorway sort of gives me that opportunity to have that second glance.
Yeah.
Did you find, James, when you first set up, you had a problem getting motor trade insurance or not?
Yeah, I really struggled with motor trade. The thing I really struggled with was a bank. I was turned down by 11 or 12 banks. Every time I said I was going to be, set up as car sales, they just said no. So like all of the online banks turned me down immediately. And it was the biggest problem because you can't really do anything if you haven't got a bank. Obviously, the accountant was saying you can't use your personal account to do this. So that caused me troubles. In the end, I went to my bank, my personal bank, Barclays, and they gave me an account. But I really struggled with that. And then motor trade insurance was a massive hassle. It was really, really difficult. In the end, I used a company called Clegg Gifford, which are a broker, and I've got a policy via TradeX. I couldn't recommend them, if I'm honest. I can never get through to them. I can't add people on. It's very difficult to amend it. And I found it a massive headache. And as soon as the policy comes up for renewal, I'll be changing. So the problem is it was a case of I need motor trade insurance. Yeah. Otherwise I can't trade.
Did you try Howden's? Because that's one of the main ones in the UK. What did they say?
They couldn't help me as a new trader either. I mean, it's really difficult to get into this industry. There are a lot of hurdles, and luckily, I run Car Dealer Magazine. I've got a lot of contacts. I can pick up the phone and talk to people who are doing it, and people who are in the industry. Other people haven't got that, so I've got a huge amount of respect for people who've battled through what I've gone through because it's not hard. It's not easy.
What was it? Why were they making it difficult to get the motor trade insurance? Was it trade premises what you didn't have?
It was the fact I was operating from home was not something they liked.
Right.
And to be honest with you, it wasn't something I really wanted to do. I mean, I don't really want to invite all these people into my house, but it was a case of needs must. When you start a business, you need to keep overheads low, don't you? And I didn't know whether it was going to work or not. So taking on a lease for a unit was not something I wanted to do right at the start. What I found is we've gone to one of those like serviced office places. We were going to just get a serviced office and put the cars in the car park, but they had some workshop units with a sort of up and over door. I could probably get 4 cars in it at a squeeze with a couple of desks. Somewhere to clean the cars and keep them clean would be very handy. But they part of the negotiations, they said we can have unlimited parking in the car park. So
that's all right, isn't it?
That's sort of funny to me. Well, I said we'll certainly be putting that to the test.
It's a good idea that the serviced office. I never thought of that because they use their car park.
Yeah. We buy any car used to be in this area where I've got it, and they've moved on. So I think people are used to having motor trade businesses in that unit. But yeah, so it's worked out quite well, and they pride themselves on it being easy in, easy out. So they're small enough not to need business rates. The internet's included, the power is included. So pretty much, and it's like you can sign up for a month. I've signed up for a year, but you can just sign up for a month. So it's quite a nice way of dipping my toe in the water, really.
Good though.
So you're definitely committed then if you've signed up for a year.
Yeah. Well, it's 12 grand. I'm thinking, right, 12 grand. If anything, this is giving me a great way to see what my readers do on a daily basis. I've learned so much. I've seen how all of the products that our suppliers, the advertisers on our website, how that works for dealers. I've managed to try it for myself. I've seen new things. I've seen the industry from a different way. So, and actually, as a marketing tool for Car Dealer, with lots of people have come to it off the back of the YouTube series. They listen to our podcast and where I talk about it on a weekly basis, and it's brought in new audiences. So I try and explain it as a marketing expense to people in the business.
Yeah.
Not that they believe me when I'm out there cleaning the Dacia Duster instead of on a Zoom call.
No, I can definitely see it working for that. I mean, to be honest, James, I knew who you were, and I knew Car Dealer magazine, and I'd read a few articles previously, but I was never really sort of in that ecosystem. And then I watch a lot of YouTube personally, and I came across you on YouTube somehow, and I started watching it, and I've watched a few of the videos, and it's brought you more to my attention to me.
Oh, thank you.
And I've started following Car Dealer on various platforms, and obviously I know we've done the podcast with yourselves, and that's due to come out. But yeah, it's definitely worked with me.
Oh, great. And
yeah.
that's sort of what I was aiming for, really. And I mean, the videos we do, it's a video diary mostly. We do try and do the odd professionally produced one. One of my members of the team will do it. But the ones I do, I just edit them myself. And it's really just me just talking to my phone and just saying what I've been up to that week. But it sort of gives a behind the scenes of what it's really like running a car dealership on your own. And it's a lot of running around, a lot of getting on the ferry across to one of my prep centres, one of the workshops I use. You know, it's a lot of kind of picking stuff up, and it's a lot of stress, isn't it? It's a lot of stress.
Wait until you've got 60 or 70 cars.
Oh, I honestly don't know how people do it. I honestly don't know how people do it.
Yeah. With a lot of help, to be honest.
Yeah.
With good staff, good processes in place. But it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, it's the I mean, do you take it personally when these people ring up, you know, when customers ring up with a problem with a car? I mean, the sort of way I've started to have a look at it is like just sort of expect every car to come back. And if it doesn't, then it's a result. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I try my
I think
hardest.
that happens everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, they're used cars, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, James, when I was in the position that you're in many moons ago, and started off trading myself, you know, from the door, and from small units and what have you. Yeah, I sort of would take it a little bit personally when the cars would come back. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's like water off a duck's back, and it's just part of the process. And no, we don't expect every car to come back with problems, because like my company, and I'm sure Scott's as well, you know, we'll prep cars to a high standard. We'll spend a lot of money on preparing cars. I mean, the average SIV cost at the minute's running like 600 quid, you know, across the board at our place. But no, it you just sort of take it on the chin, and it's just you do expect it. You expect that there's going to be, you know, if let's say you sell 50 or 60 cars one month, you know that there's going to be, you know, maybe 10 to 15 come back with issues. They're used cars, you know, that they're driving up and down the motorway at 100 miles an hour, and you've got to look after them for 6 months, you know. So, I mean, obviously, Scott will know. I mean, Scott sells in excess of 150 cars a month. So if you add that up over 6 months, you know, that, my maths is dreadful, by the way, that's like 900 cars or something, you know, up and down that motorway at 70, 80 miles an hour that you've got to look after for 6 months. It's there's no other job like it, really, is that?
No, the other thing that's really taken me by surprise is sort of the reputation that car dealers have. I find that a lot of the time, the first 10, 15 minutes of me chatting to a customer is sort of convincing them that I'm not going to rip them off. You know, I'm a nice guy, and, you know, look at my reviews, and, you know, look at the car, and look at the video that I've done in advance of it. And, you know, I'm really trying to show you everything, because I mean, I've had people come in and they're just immediately fighty, you know, like really kind of, they're really on edge. And I found that quite unusual. And it was a little bit of a shock having to talk these people round into that you're not a bad guy.
I think the scary part as well is, though, if you think about what you were saying about the car wow and going and find one cool and going at the engine and stuff like that, it seems to be a different standard for the dealer as opposed to the customer. The amount of customers that try and push cars into us that are not working and so forth, or faults and what have you, where they've had it wiped or something like that on the OBD, and literally try and get away with it. Yeah, it's us that's at fault.
Yeah,
which is a scary part as well.
Yeah,
Liars are liars.
I do find that the first time when you're going to see a car, you've got to play detective, haven't you? You've got to try and work out, why is this person selling it? Yeah, why are they selling it? Is it because it's got a problem? Is it because they've bought a new car? Is it because they've got a new car through work? You've got to pick up on all of the clues, haven't you? I spend so much time
Yeah.
talking to the customer, asking them questions, because sometimes things don't connect, and they're the ones that I walk away from. Walk away from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the same with auctions as well, James. It's identifying why is that car in there from a dealer group who would normally retail the car. You've got to ask the question, well, why is it in there, and trying to work out, well, sometimes it can be overage or something like that, but sometimes there's a bit of a story with it. You just got to be careful. Have you bought any cars from auction or
No,
no?
not yet.
No,
So
no.
we did a video with Mannheim where I went and spent a
I
day.
watched that. It's good.
And I mean, it was interesting. Tried to win 4 of them, but we didn't. We were outbidding all of them. I sort of set my limits and set my margins, and obviously when they went over that, I stepped away. But if I'm honest, I find auctions really scary. I kind of find that kind of I do, because from exactly that point you said, I don't really understand why these dealers are selling them in an auction. Is it because it is a car that's got a problem? Is it because it's got a fault? And actually, when you bought it, haven't you? It's not like a car wow or motorway sale and you can check it and drive it. If that's rolled out of the auction hall and it's got nothing, hasn't got third, fourth, and fifth gear, that's your problem, isn't it?
It's your problem, yeah.
You would think it would make them cheaper as well, wouldn't you? But it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I think prices in
Do you
the
know-
auctions
do you
now
know
are
when
through the roof.
when you were doing obviously your pricing analysis and stuff like that. So say for instance, you had the car that you were going to bid up to $9,500 for, and the car sold. Do you know, were you a couple of £100 away? Were you £1,000?
Yeah,
away?
it was a couple. It was a couple of hundred on all of them. I was in the
Yeah.
hall with them. So, but I just set my limit on what I expected the prep work to be afterwards, and how much of a risk I was willing to take. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but I did a video the other day on like the margins that I'd been making, and I'm not paying myself through this business at the moment. I get paid by Car Dealer Magazine, so the business just, if it's got a profit at the end of the year, happy days. But it's not paying me a wage. And if I factored that into the average I've been doing on the deals, I'd be making a few hundred quid. The margins were so slim, and I don't think customers understand that. I don't think and I'm very open with them. I just say, look, this is how much money there's left in the car, and after VAT and tax, I've got to pay for the Auto Trader advertising and the other advertising I do. I've got to pay for my, once I've got my overheads, going to have to pay for my overheads. And then once you actually lay it out, the customers, I find normally they're quite shocked. And that has actually worked in my favor, because I've had people who've had problems and they've gone, oh, don't worry about it. I know you've only got X amount of money in the car. Honestly, genuinely, they have gone, yeah. I know. I've had
Could
some
do
good
with a
ones.
couple of them customers.
I've had some lovely customers. But I've also had some that have really caused me some serious headaches. I mean, I don't know whether you saw the story about the GDPR issue I had, but I'm happy to tell you if you didn't see it.
No.
So I sold a Fiat 500 very early on in this story, and it came back to me with a problem. It had an air conditioning fault. I went and picked it up from the customer, took it to the garage, got it sorted, took it back to her, all fine. A week out of the 6-month warranty, she gave me a call and said, I've broken down, I'm at the side of the road, it won't go into gear. So it was taken to a workshop. I said, get it taken by AA or RAC to the workshop that I use. They looked at it. It was like some hydraulic fluid had come out, and they just needed to put some new pipe work in or something. I'm not a mechanic. They fixed the problem, sent the car back to her. Oh, she was very happy. Then a month later, I had another phone call from her saying it had happened again. But this time, instead of letting me take it to my workshop, she had taken it to a workshop just down the road, who said it needed new front brake disc and pads, obviously. It needed a whole new gearbox. It needed a new aircon compressor. It was a £1,300 bill. And she was very, very angry about it. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I said, I'll pay it. Send me the bill and I'll pay it. And she was kind of like really taken aback about that. Well, while we were having this conversation, my phone was ringing. So I'd had a WhatsApp message from someone else, and it was the woman who I'd bought the car from via CarWow saying, "Why have you given my data away?" And I said, "I haven't given your data away. Well, what's happened?" She said, "I've been contacted by the person you sold the car to, via Facebook, and she wanted to know whether you had sold it to the Clever Car Collection with any faults, and whether James knew about those, and whether he chipped you on the price. So what this woman had done is she'd used the service history, which I hadn't redacted the details of the previous owner, which you don't have to, by the way, because I checked with logistics, but she'd used those to contact her on Facebook. So this is on my son's second birthday party, the Saturday afternoon this was happening. I've got one on one phone, the woman moaning that her car's broken down. She wants 1,300 quid. You know, the car had, I think when I sold it, £1,000 in it. After the first couple of repairs, 600 quid in it. This is before tax and VAT, so you can see what I was looking at. So effectively, I paid her about £1,000 to take the car away, at the same time of having this massive headache in terms of GDPR. Luckily, I spoke to the guys at Logistics, Nona and Joel there. I don't know if you know them, but they're absolutely fantastic.
Joel's a good guy, yeah.
Really
good.
Yeah.
They gave me the advice, and actually, you can hand over previous service history because it is legitimate interest. But I have, there you go, handy prop. I've bought one of these redacting machines that I'm just going to start redacting all of the data, because I just don't think it's worth the hassle. But it's things like that I had no idea about. And I didn't, this is on Saturday afternoon. I've got a house full of kids and my friends and family, and I'm getting this sort of hassle from two customers, not one. And those are the sorts of things that makes me realize that, what you guys go through on a weekly, daily basis. And it's hard work, isn't it?
But what I started doing was, as we were growing, so I used to deal with the problems. But about 7 years ago, we used to drive up to Scotland to buy a lot of the cars from the auctions. And you'd have a good 4 or 5 hour drive through all the traffic or wherever you're going to, which auction you're going to. And I used to start and tell the staff, the team, like the service manager, I'd say, if there's a problem with the car, don't ring us. I don't want to know, because it would just knock your focus on the cars what you're buying, kind of spoils your day. And now as the company's got bigger, now I only find out about any problems if it's like a rewind. So if the car's actually going to get rewound, that's when I find out. But otherwise, I've told them, I don't want to know. Because it messes with your head, and if you got involved with all the stories and and dealing with the customers. I mean, Ben does most of them for me, and he's brilliant, and he logs everything. Everything's got a full traceability through the DMS, so it works good. But that would be my advice as the business grows, is put somebody in that position and just say, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I can well see how that would be advantageous.
Your bank still knows those, Scott, unfortunately.
The bank knows, yeah. Our late cost last month was £32,000. So it sold all the cars, and then what came in, which was cars coming back, I think 32,000 included, I think it was 4 engines what we had to replace, which were like £6 or £8 each. There was rewinded deals where the cars had went out, and within the first 30 days there was some kind of a silly fault. A couple of ones went down to London. There was a Porsche went down there, a BMW, and they get all this diagnostic where somebody's told them, we get the cars back, and one of them was like a turbo and a gearbox on a 5 Series, and it wasn't. It was just a swirl flap on the exhaust. So you get it back, you rewind the whole deal, and then you've got to sit the car right into your accounts, into the book. So, but yeah, the late costs can be a bit painful at times.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm sorry, Martin. I was just going to say,
the delay on some of these podcasts.
I'll let you go.
No, you go.
I was just going to explain my warranty, like how I do my warranties. I mean, at the moment, I'm putting 250 quid aside for each deal I do, and I use Joel's warranty templates, so I'm self-warrantying these. So I'm building up a pot as it goes on, which obviously keeps on getting diminished each time these come back. But I've got it to about £7,000 now, and I mean that's the sort of average retail price of the cars I sell. So I sort of think that, should it really, really go tits up, then I've got enough money there to buy the car back if there's a problem. But I find that works quite well for me. But I've been thinking about doing extended warranties with a warranty company, and doing like a longer 12-month one where it sort of takes the hassle away from me, because when you self-warranty them, they have to give you a call, don't they? So they have to come back to you.
Me personally, if I was you, James, in your position, I don't think I'd go down that route yet. No, I think if you get a bit bigger and you get maybe 20 or 30 cars around you, then maybe look into that. But I think what you might find is, if you start selling extended policies in your dealing, personally with a customer from home, you've got a good relationship with them, I think they'll still be ringing you 11 months later and not the warranty company.
Yeah.
With us, on that one, James, we do a pot scheme exactly the same as yourself, but we also upsell a 2-year warranty. But the pot scheme is run by Warranties 2000, so they take an admin fee out of how much we pay them, and they deal with the customer. So it takes away that awkward kind of conversation. If something wasn't covered, which is going to spoil your day, that's what we pay them for. So they're trained staff who can explain to a consumer, this part isn't covered, it's wear and tear. It was never covered in the policy from day one, and they'll have that conversation. So it's worth that little bit of money there. And then the upsell, what we do with Auto Protect, our warranty penetration is massive now. It's something like 70-80% every month, where people will have the 2-year warranty, which the level of covers, it's a good product what they brought out, which covers you for wear and tear as well. It's to do with age and miles and things as well. But things like turbo, head unit when the radio goes wrong and things like that. So we've used them for years. So we use the two. So we give the one free, which is the pot scheme, but then we also upsell the other one. But the pot scheme, as I said, they monitor it for us and they deal with it all, so we don't get the phone calls.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I'm not very good at is knowing what is and isn't covered. I mean, basically, if someone has a problem, I sort it out at the moment, regardless of what it is. Because I mean, a lot of the time, I feel bad for them. But I know that actually, if you want to make money in this game, you have to stick by your terms and conditions of the policies, don't you? But which is why I can see that would be it would be an advantage certainly to use a company who could have that conversation for you. Because it's what takes it away from you, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that what you're saying there, Scott, that definitely worked for you and obviously for most dealerships. But I just think James working from home or even working from a smaller unit for the time being, I still think the customers will be more tied to him rather than going through the warranty company. That's just my experience of it, anyways.
Well, I set up from when I was selling from the door back in the day, and I first set up. I started with Warranties 2000 on a pot scheme, so I've been with them for 14 years, and it just seemed to take the pressure away. So I've always done it with them, and always had that pot scheme. But then obviously when we do the upsell, it's with the other one,
Yeah,
I think
I'll certainly have a look
with the
at that.
warranties, a lot of the warranty companies as well is what I've noticed in my experiences. A lot of the warranty companies, because there's that many different ones, and like I say, different policies and things like that, what's covered, what's not. If you like you are, James, what will happen with the warranty company is you could find yourself them not paying out and you still paying for it. So you pay for the warranty and then also pay it out for whatever is needed on it as well. So a lot of dealers tend to use the pot.
Yeah, we do that.
really
We do that with our pot. If something isn't covered, it's still our money in the pot. So then we'll just authorize the warranty company just to do the job anyway. It just depends on the actual claim and how long the customers have had the car for and what it exactly is, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really conscious of reviews. I mean, because I'm a new business, I've really worked hard on making sure I get myself reviews. I'm very pleased. I've had 5-star reviews all around so far, but anything that I can do to keep that going is I do it because it's so valuable. I found that as the business has gone on, people look at the videos that I've done of the cars. I'm really honest with the videos when I list them. I walk around the whole car. It's like a 6-minute video. And I just say it's got a mark there, it's got a scratch there, it's got a ding there, it's got a problem on the wheel there, and I tell them absolutely everything. And as soon as I get the first inquiry in, I send them the link to the video and say, please make sure you watch the video in advance. And like normally people turn up and they say, well, I've watched your video and I can see you're honest, and I've read your reviews and you've got fantastic reviews. And more often than not, they don't even test drive the car. They just say, I just wanted to see that it was real.
Yeah.
So reviews make a big difference.
Before when you were saying that you weren't really au fait with cars yourself, and you didn't understand certain aspects of it. I've just thought myself when you're talking about pointing out faults and what have you. I did watch a little bit of your video that you put out last week when you were introducing your new business partner, and I think there was it a black mocha? You were cleaning on your drive.
Sold that.
Oh, have you sold it? Well,
Yeah, sold that.
you may. Well, I'm chuckling at myself because it just made us laugh at the time. You were looking at you had like a scratch down the rear quarter, and you were saying, "No, I think that's hidden it." You'd put some polish on it. I looked at that, I thought, there's no way that's it.
Well, do you know what? A lot of people
Paint.
said that.
Oh
you know,
yeah, that's it. I just thought it was funny.
well, we've got to make an effort, haven't we? But that's the thing. It's like, I mean, that's a really good example of it, because I got a good deal on that on motorway, that car, because I
Yeah.
think most dealers were put off by it. But I've just listed that. I mean, most dealers, and I had people comment on the video saying, "Why haven't you done the wing? Why haven't you
Yeah.
paid for it?" Well, that's 250 quid at least to get that done. I haven't really got the money in it, so I'm just honest. I just say, look, it's got this mark on it. It's quite, and in the video I point it out and I polished it as best as I can. And I've had plenty of cars like that in the past where people turn up and go, I like the fact it's got marks because I feel less worried about driving it around. I mean, I think if you're honest and show people, I mean, I know there's other dealers do it the completely opposite way and make them absolutely perfect, but I just find like these are under £7,000 used cars. Of course they're going to have marks on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that the going rate down there, James? £250? Is that the paint a wing, or is it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not getting the best of deals, but then I'm not exactly high volume.
Yeah. We're £100 up here. You'd be cheaper driving them up here.
Yeah,
£100 when you used to do my paintwork, you weren't £100.
No, we used to charge you too. Because we've seen you coming, George.
Mr. George is £140 a panel, I'm sure.
We've seen you coming. we knew you could afford it.
That's why I stopped using it.
So did everybody else. Yeah. James, what about it's award season around the corner. How long have you been doing the awards from? How far does that go back?
2012 we launched the awards. So yeah, we're what's that, 12 years in. Yeah, it's been it's a lot of fun over the years putting those on, as you well know. Probably been to many of them, haven't you? It's I've
been to a good few, yeah.
Used Car Awards is a good night. Yeah, nominations close for that on the September the 30th. So Monday, September 30th. And it's just a case of getting your name in the hat. So it's very easy to do. If you're a dealer out there, cardealermagazine.co.uk, at the top, there's a tab that says UC Awards or UCA 2024. Click on that and you can just fill it in. It's really simple to do. And you just need to get your name in there, because if your name's not in there, then the judging panel and the judging process can't actually take place. So I always say to people, just put your name in the hat, because you never know how you get on.
And what do you think? Because I'll be honest with you, James, in my business, I've never put in for an award or anything like that. I sometimes wonder how people have got the time to go to all these conventions. Obviously, Scott's been to about 1 million of them, and he's got like 500,000 trophies sitting in his cabinet. He's got trophies on his toilet window still, haven't he? He's got that many.
Yes.
But I've never been one for them. I've not really ever put in for any sort of award, and it's just always, is it like, just sort of, an award for helping out, or for paying for an advert, or is it actually a serious? No,
if only it was that simple.
Yeah, no, but it's genuine sort of concerns. I would imagine a lot of dealers would think, like, you're paying for a table, so you get an award. Can you just explain to the audience, like, is it what actually goes into sort of like selecting the winners, and how is that process done?
I wish it was that easy, but it really isn't. It's very, very, very labor intensive. So what we do is we get thousands of entries every year to the Used Car Awards. We've got, I think it was 24 dealer categories, and we've got 7 for Cars of the Year, which obviously can't be entered, but 24 dealer categories. So once the names are in the hat, the first thing that we do is we do an online, basically a mystery shop of them, but via online reviews. So we'll look at your Google reviews, we'll look at your Auto Trader reviews, and anything under, and then we work out the average that's in that category. So you have to be above a certain average to get to the next stage. That's quite tough, because it's hard to keep your reviews high, but there's a lot of businesses out there that do manage it. So that's the first bit that we do. After that, it goes into a mystery shopping phase. So if you make it through the online cull, you go into the mystery shopping phase, and we contact every single dealer. I've got a team of people. We sub a lot of this work out. We've got huge spreadsheets and templates that we do. Every single dealer will get an inquiry. We log the car that we do and the time that we make that inquiry. And it could be done online. It could be done via WhatsApp. It could be done on the phone. So we basically let the mystery shoppers pick whichever way they want to do it. And then it will come down to, excuse me, we check so many different things with that. So, like, do they offer a test drive? Do they offer a video call about that car? Do they offer finance? Do they offer a part exchange price for the car? It's what are the people like on the phone? And when it gets down to the final stages, we go out and see people. So we've actually got, like, if it gets down to like where it's in a category, it's really, really close, we'll go out there and mystery shop them in person. So it's a massive process, you know. That's why it ends at the end of September, and then the real hard work really begins. And I think we announced the nominations list, which is after the first cull on October the 7th. That's after all of the online stuff has been done. Then it's the mystery shopping begins, and the shortlist comes out on October the 21st. So you can only buy a table at the point that you're in the shortlist. So, you know, you have to have got through all of those stages before you're even offered the chance to come.
Right.
Yeah. So it has to be done properly. You know, we put our names to this, and it is a huge amount of work, but it should be, because people have a lot of time, put a lot of time and effort into their businesses, and are very rightly so, very proud of what they do. And the good guys are very good. You will be shocked at how many people don't answer our calls, don't reply to our emails, don't message. You know,
I don't think I would. I wouldn't be shocked. I can well believe it.
yeah, every single lead I get into my business. Okay, I'm a small business, but I get them. I use DealerKit, the DMS. I don't know whether you've used them, but they are absolutely amazing.
Heard good things.
Absolutely fantastic DealerKit. I get a message on my phone as soon as I get, and it doesn't matter what time of the day or night it is, that is replied to instantly. Like I reply to that customer. I don't care what time of the day it is, because that's when they're inquiring about the car. I mean, this is where AI can help, and I am going to be plugging in some AI assistance to the business soon. But at the moment, you know, I care about every single one, and often I've chased them up. You know, I've had the first one hasn't gone answered, so I'll send them a message the next day. I'll send them an email, and I'll pick up the phone. And I did that once. And the guy, when I rang him, he just went, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I've been at work. I work nights. Thanks for calling me. I've been meaning to deal with this. I'll come and see the car today." Sold him the car. Well, you know, okay, I'm a one-man band, and I haven't got many cars, and I need to sell them. But I do think that sometimes every lead should just be treated as a sale in some way.
100%. Yeah. Have you found it annoying at times when some people have put like a lead in, and it comes in, and you can't get in touch with them, and they've asked you a question, and you answer the question, you don't get nothing back off them?
If I'm honest,
isn't it?
yeah, it can. I don't get many of those, and actually, I don't get many questions. I don't get any questions. All people want to do is come and see the car. You know, I work very hard on writing my adverts, and you know, I followed some templates of lots of people. I spoke to Auto Trader about best practice, and the videos. I cover absolutely everything. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time to list a car. It probably takes me 2.5, 3 hours to get a car listed. But often I sell it within, you know, more often than not, I sell it within a couple of days. And and people don't ask me questions. They don't go, you know, has it got this or that, or what's this like?
That's very interesting that you said it takes you that long to list the car. Can you explain the process more detail, what you actually do?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's again, this is probably something I shouldn't be doing, but more often than not, I clean them and polish them myself. You know, because you see everything, don't you? Then, so that sort of thing. Yeah, I include cleaning. Yeah, but it'll probably take me half an hour to write the advert, at least, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. Once I've checked all of the different details, I take a minimum of 60 pictures. Like Auto Trader says, the absolute bare minimum you should have is 25, and like best practice is 60, 70. And I've seen lots of dealers do like 100. Which is, I don't know how they do it, because it's near enough impossible to take 100 pictures of a car, but people do. And then I do the video, and that's it's a 6-minute walk around of the car. I do it in 4 takes: an intro, a walk around the car, piece inside, and a bit about the service history. And then you got to edit it. So you know that takes time. But I do think that it's worth the time and effort. And I won't put a car up until I've got all of that done, till all of the pictures are done, the copy's written, and the video's done.
You'd have to have someone on full time doing that as your scale.
But I do think that's worth it. I mean, I definitely will not change that, because it works.
Yeah. There's a lot of dealers who wouldn't spend anywhere near that amount of time and effort doing that. And I think that as you do grow, that'll benefit you massively.
Yeah, I mean, it's the obviously talking to Auto Trader when I've had a review of it. They've said I think they said it takes something like 3 weeks for an advert to regain its performance if you upload it with less than 20 pictures at the start. So, sometimes dealers put it on there and go, just, I'll get it up there quick with 6 pics. Well, it's actually not worth doing that. You might as well wait until you've done all of your proper pictures, because you're just sort of wasting your time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see both sides, because I'm
Yeah, I
certainly
can
guilty
as
of
well.
trying to get cars. If we've got cars waiting to go on there and we haven't got enough cars on the website, I want the cars on the website,
Yeah.
because we're spending money advertising to get people onto the website and what have you. And I can see both sides, because we have actually sold cars when literally they went up with no pictures, So
Oh, I'm sure it
both ways.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it both ways work, but I do agree with you. I'd prefer to do it your way, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's labor intensive, but I just find again, I haven't got the experience that you guys have had. I've just had to find my way with it, and I've found that way works for me.
We've probably picked up a lot of bad habits along the way, anyways. You're probably doing it better.
Well, I mean, the one thing I certainly wouldn't say that, but I think the one thing I have learned is, or the one advantage I have had is I've come into this with a kind of complete blank sheet of paper. I've had to learn everything, and every time I sort of question myself, why are we doing it that way? Why can't AI do that? A lot of the times I'm double keying information into different systems. I'm like, why am I doing this? This is such a waste of time. So I just think there's the amount of different systems you have to log into when you're running a dealership, even on my tiny scale, is ridiculous. And what we need is that, what I really want from AI is to be able to say, like, I want a kind of Jarvis for the motor trade. I want to be able to say, right, we've sold the full Fiesta. Can you prepare the warranty docs and send them the invoice? I mean, really, it should be that simple, shouldn't it? You could say that to somebody. You could say that to an apprentice in the office, couldn't you? Or someone who knows what's going on. So why can't AI get to that stage? And that's really what the goal I'd like to have.
Well, I think it's probably coming though, James, isn't it? It's probably coming. The
I hope so.
the rate that technology's progressing, especially artificial intelligence, I do think we're maybe 3 or 4 years away from that.
Have you used AI in any of your businesses?
I've used ChatGPT for a couple of things, maybe send a few professional emails, which is just, I've never just used what it's put out. I've always got a base from it to work from, and then, chop and change it around. So I have used that. We actually use some AI technology in my retail business, what replaces the background of the cars and the photographs, which works really well, to be fair, because we don't really have space for a photo booth. We take the photographs outside, and obviously weather dependent, it's hard, and especially the little spot where we take photos. It's like a public place as well, so lots of people just park their cars there, and they'll pull up and they'll be walking their dog when they're trying to take a photograph in the way. So we have found AI's help there massively. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
know a
used
lot.
it. I haven't used it.
No.
We've just changed over to Dragon 2000 for our DMS, and when you put your description of the car in there, they have an AI facility where it writes the full description for you.
Yeah.
Somehow I haven't used it yet. Like, I don't.
Do you use that?
The lads do the descriptions. The sales team. We've got like a digital guy who photographs and videos all the cars, so he does the descriptions with a couple of the sales team, because they have all the docs and they have all the information about the car in front of them. So we found it better that they write them. But I haven't. We've probably been using Dragon now for about 3 or 4 weeks, but I'll ask them. I haven't actually spoken them, but I can tell the way the descriptions are still written. Everyone's written the same. There's like a uniform to how they all read from about the car to to who owned it to what we do to it. There's like uniform to every description what we write, so they like follow that same process. Whereas the AI wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't have thought.
I couldn't come on to this podcast and not ask for your advice with my business. I mean, you got a piece of advice for me that I can take away as a bit of a learning curve.
It's normally us asking the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tend to back the other way.
I would say enter for lots of awards,
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, get some awards in there. Yeah, definitely. That's always good. And your reviews, which you know about.
I
There's
would
no-
say,
Consistency, probably.
don't listen to anyone's
Consistency.
advice and just trust your gut.
Trust my gut. Yeah, I just need to fine tune my gut. I think at the moment.
Yeah.
To be
When
fair,
we-
though,
when we-
it's what we're saying. Sorry, I was going to say what we're saying on other podcasts. What defines success? Do you know? Obviously, you've sold 45 since you've been going, and you've done that well, and you've got 5-star reviews, and you're now moving into premises. What is wrong with that? You're on the right path, so it's working for you. You're doing it. Just keep
Yeah.
working at it the way you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's working for you, I wouldn't change. I wouldn't veer from the recipe. Yeah, definitely. If it's working for you now, just try and scale it as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I think that's the hard bit.
Yeah.
I certainly enjoy it, but it's definitely giving me a few more grey hairs.
Yeah, I think you were mentioned before about you personally going out to view the cars that you're seeing on motorway and car wow. I know if you wanted to scale the business, it would be impossible to do that yourself.
Yeah.
But I think it wouldn't be impossible to take someone with you 5 to 10 times to do it and learn them your processes, how to do it, and then pass that job on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely planning to do that. If we do win this Mitsubishi, if I do get the Mitsubishi chip down on the price, I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that tomorrow. Should I buy a PHEV Outlander, or is that really bad news?
I'll pass that one on to you, Scott. I don't really know
we
a lot
we
about it.
took we took one in swap the other week, and it had a bad wasn't very happy. The engine had a bad rattle on the timing chain. We shouldn't have took it in, but the salesman missed it. So that was only my experience recently of one. But I think that I don't know. I think that they'd probably be built well. I would imagine. I could be wrong, but this one had a timing chain issue, which was about £1,500 repair. So.
God.
We sold it. I listed it in the Dealer Way group, our Facebook group. I just listed it as a sensible price, and one of the dealers from down south bought it, and obviously he was going to do the chain on it and then carry on with the car. So we moved it on.
Very good retail rating, 98 out of 100. So that was the reason I bought it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
yeah,
well,
it's
that's
popular. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nice big car. Probably have leather in and stuff like that. So heated seats. It'll do well.
Yeah.
We often talk about retail ratings, and with my two buyers, and we bought a little Clio last week, and it had an 8 out of 100 score, and it was a little 4-door Renault Clio, the facelift one. I think it was about a 16 plate, 17 plate, 1.5 diesel dynamic with a sat nav, and it had an 8 out of 100 score. And then we looked at a car last night, which was a Defender, first edition, body kit, big wheels and all that. I think that had a 10 out of 100 score. But then you look and you think, well, there's Defenders on all the roads. They're very, very popular. Why is that getting such a poor score? But obviously the data knows more. It goes off the data on days to sell and so on, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of dealers who just ignore it and don't use it at all. But unfortunately, I haven't got the experience that they have. So it's the only way that I can tell whether I think a car might sell quickly or not. And so far, it's worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, if it's working, I wouldn't change your recipe.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Age-old.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's a boom for every seat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bump for every seat. Yeah, yeah. And I think on that note, we'll leave it there, James.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you for
thanks very
coming
much
on.
for coming
Much
on.
appreciated. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Really
that.
enjoyed it.
Thank
Very
you.
interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, James. Appreciate it.
No
Thanks,
worries
everyone.
whatsoever.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Cheers.